Hello everyone, welcome to my channel IndiaGATE. This is Nandani Sharma, and in this session we talk about the EKT subject, that is your information theory, and it is subjects of both branches like your electrical, electronics plus your computer science and CSIT. And in this session we talk about the 85 questions of the EKT. So let's get starting. Here first question of the session is, dash is a part of the database that hold only one type of the information. So correct answer for this question is field. So field is the correct answer, that is your option B. Now come to the next question. Here next question is defined as, dash create a pretty good policy, that is PGP. So here correct answer is option A, Phil Zimmerman. Phil Zimmerman is created PGP. Okay, now come to the next question. Which is not an acceptable method of the distributing small power outlet throughout an open plan office area? So correct answer for this question is extension codes. Extension code is not the plan for the open plan office area. Okay, now come to the next question. Here dash model stipulated that the requirement be completely suspected before the rest of the development can be proceeded. So we say that waterfall model is the stipulated model that required be completed specified before the rest of the development can be proceeded. Okay, so option A is the correct answer. Now come to the next question. Dash is a classification scheme which shows how an object class is related to other class through common attributes and services. So correct answer is option C, that is your taxonomy. So taxonomy is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. Dash is a function of the number of failures experienced by a particular user data software. So correct answer is software reliability. Option B is your correct answer. Okay, now come to the next question. A dash list is header list where the node point back to the header nodes. So correct answer is your circular header. Okay, option A is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. A double linked list has dash pointer which each node. So double linked list has 2 pointers. Okay, option C is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. Header linked list are frequently used for maintaining dash in memory. So answer is for that question is polynomial. So option A is your correct answer. Now come to the next. The pointer that points to the first node ing the list is, that is your first. Okay, now come to the next question. Dash is the process of carrying out commands. So executing is the process of carrying out command. Okay, option C is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. What is the part of database that hold only one type of information? So field is your correct answer. Option B is your correct answer. Move extension refers usually to what kind of files? So move is refers to the animation and move files, movies files. Okay, so option B is your correct answer. AM means, that is AM means your amplitude modulation. Option C is your correct answer. Next question is, dash is the first search engine in internet. So RT is the first search engine in internet. Option B is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. How many bits used by the IPv6 address? So IPv6 address used 128 bits. So option C is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. The first computer virus is known as, so first computer virus is known as creeper virus. So creeper virus is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. Which of the following is not database management software? So COBOL is not your data management software. Okay, now come to the next question. Mac operating system is developed by which company? So Mac operating system is developed by Apple company. Now come to the next question. 124-bit is equal to how many bytes? So it is equal to the 128 bytes. Okay. Now come to the next question. .gif is extension of, this is extension of image file. So option A is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. The headquarters of the Microsoft Office is located at, this is located at Washington DC. Okay. Now option 4 is your correct answer. Next question is, firewall is computer is used for? So firewall in computer is used for the security purpose. Okay. So option A is your correct answer. Next question is, what is the full form of the PDF? So full form of the PDF is portable document format. So option C is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. In which decade was the American Institute of Electrical Engineers AIEE founded? That is in the century of the 1880. So option B is your correct answer. Now next question is, OS computer abbreviation usually means, that is means operating system. So option C is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. Which is the type of the operating system? So Linux and MS-DOS is the type of the operating system. Option A is the correct answer. Now come to the next question. Dash is the information of MIS. So here 4 options and correct answer is all of these, means Internet Explorer, search, internet option. These are the information of the MIS. Okay. Now come to the next question. Dash is the part of the LAN topology. So bus is the part of the LAN topology. Now come to the next question. Analog computer includes, so this is includes all of these, that is your watch, thermometer and voltage meter. Okay. Now come to the next question. Input device is, so correct answer is all of these, means keyboard, mouse and touchpad. Now come to the next question. Which of the following is not a web browser? So here Facebook is not a web browser. Option C is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. Dash is a programming language. So correct answer for this question is HTML, that is your programming language. Now come to the next question. Protocol is used to send email, that is your SMTP. So option C is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. In which year sign was first chosen for its use in email address? So correct answer is 1972. Option D is your correct answer. Now dash computer program convert assembly language to the machine language. So this is your assembler. Option C is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. A folder in Windows computer can't be made with the name, that is your con. So con is your correct answer. Option B. Now come to the next question. Dash is the extension type of the Excel 2007 files, that is your XLSX. Okay. Now come to the next question. FDDI used which type of the physical topology? So this is used for the ring topology. Okay. Now come to the next question. Dash software reside only in a read-only memory and is used to control product and system for the consumer and industrial market. So option B is your correct, that is your embedded. Now come to the next question. Dash software make use of a numerical algorithm to solve the complex problem that are not enabled to computation or straightforward analysis. So correct answer is option A, artificial intelligence. Now come to the next question. Dash is a sub-discipline of the computer science that attempt to apply engineering principle to the creation, operation, modification and maintenance of the software component of the various system, that is called your software engineering. So option C is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. Software maintenance refer to the supposed phase of software development which includes all of our, that is your correction, adaptation and enhancement. So option D is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. DAS model stipulates that the requirements be completely specified before the rest of the development can be processed. That is your waterfall model. Okay, now come to the next question. The modify operation is likely to be done after lookup. So option B is your correct answer. Next question. A single linked list is also known as one-way chain. Okay, now come to the next question. The different type of the software maintenance systems are. So different type of the software management systems are adaptive maintenance. Now come to the next question. In the dash traversal, we process all the vertex ascendant before we move to the adjacent vertices. So depth limited. Option D is your correct answer. Now come to the next. The number of comparison done by the sequential search is that is n plus 1 by 2. Option B is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. In dash search, start at the beginning of the list and check every element in the list. That is your linear search. Option A is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. In dash search, start at the beginning of the list and check every list in the, that is your linear. Okay. Now which of the following is not the internal sort? That is your merge sort. Option C is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. A graph is said to be dash if the vertices can be split into two set V1 and V2 such there are no edges between the two vertices of V1 or two vertices of V2. That is your bipartite graph. Okay, so option B is your correct answer. Now come to the next. In a queue, the initial value of the front pointer F, rear pointer R should be dash and dash respectively. Then that should be 0 and 1 respectively. Option A is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. The advantage of dash is that they solve the problem if sequential storage representation, but disadvantage is that they are sequentially listed, that is your linked list. Option B is your correct answer. Now come to the next. What will be the value of top if there is a size is a stack size is 5? So answer is 4, means option C is your correct answer. Now next question is dash is not an operation that can be performed on the queue, that is your traversal. Option D is your correct answer. Now come to the next. There is the extra element at the head of the list is called, that is called your centennial. That, so option B is your correct answer. Now come to the next. To insert a new node in a linked list, free node will be available in, that is available in every list. So option B is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. What do you call a network whose element may be separated by some distance? It usually involves two or more small network and dedicated high-speed telephone lines. That is your WAN, that is wide area network. Option C is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. Two-way linked list may be maintained in a memory by means of, that is maintain the memory by linear array. So option B is your correct answer. Next question. System software is, option A is correct, that is your programming language. Now come to the next question. That is the brain of the computer. So correct answer of this question is CPU. CPU is the brain of the computer, not the bits. Okay, now come to the next question. RAM is, so RAM is the random access memory. Okay, option A is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. Component of a personal computer includes, so this is include hardware, software and data. So option C is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. Type of the network is, so here all of these are type of the networks, that is your local area network, metropolitan area network, wide area network. Okay, now come to the next question. A doubly linked list is also called the two-way chain. Okay, option C is your correct answer. Now next question is the list that required two pointer variable first and last is called. This is called a two-way list. Okay, so option D is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. If the availability list is null, then the condition is said to be availability list under flow. Okay, option B is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. The list which has its own pointer is called. This is called free pool. So option C is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. A dash is a header list where the last node contains the null pointer. So this is called dropped header list. So option D is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. R link is the pointer pointing to, that is pointing to the successor node. So option A is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. Count function in SQL return the number of, that is return the number of values. So option A is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. The statement SQL which allow changing the definition of a table is, that is called your create. So option C is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. State whether true or false for rapid application development RAD. So here first statement A, RAD is not appropriate when technical risks are high. Option B, statement B, for large but scalable project RAD requires sufficient human resources to create the right number of the RAD team. So option C is your correct, means both are the true statement. Now come to the next question. Statistical testing is a software testing process in which the objective is to be measure the dash of the software rather than to discover the software fault. So option B is correct, that is your reliability. So option B is your correct. Now come to the next question. Dash model couple is iterative nature of the prototyping with the controlling systematic aspect of the linear sequential model. So this is your spiral model. So option A is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. Dash is a function of the number of failures experienced by a particular user that software. So that is your software reliability. Option B is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. Reliability in a software system can be achieved using which of the following strategy? So correct answer for this question is option D, all of above, means your fault avoidance, fault tolerance and fault detection. Now come to the next question. Dash strategy assumes that residual fault remain in a system and can continue in operation after some system failures have occurred. So option B is correct, that is fault tolerance. Okay, now come to the next question. Dash involve modifying the system so that the fault does not reoccur. So option D is correct, that is fault repair. Come to the next question. Dash is an approach to program development whereby programmer assume that there may be undetected fault and inconsistency in their program. So correct answer is option A, defensive programming. Now come to the next question. Dash is a classification scheme which shows how an object class is related to other classes through common attributes and services. So correct answer is taxonomy. Okay, taxonomy is correct answer. Now come to the next question. Dash is a list of names used by the system arrangement alphabetically, that is your data dictionary. So option B is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. The dash model of a system design is distributed system model which shows how data and processing is distributed across a range of processors. So correct answer is option A. Option B, client server. Okay, client server is your correct answer. Now come to the next question. The main design activity in a software design process are, there are four options. Option first, system specification. Option second, component design. Option third, interface design, and fourth algorithm design. So correct answer for sequencing all of these, that is your all of these. Okay, now this session is end here. I hope you understand all the questions. If you have any query, so comment me. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.